Seasoned with Grace Unboxed presents Tune Up Tuesdays. This live weekly event is here to provide you and your family with tools for stronger family relationships. And now, here are your hosts, Doctors Robert and Denise Davis.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Tune Up Tuesdays, presented by Seasoned with Grace Unboxed. Over the past few months, we have focused on what Dr. Murray Bowen said about becoming more aware of our family and ultimately becoming more emotionally mature. For the past few months, we have been sharing with you parts of the family systems theory and trying also to share practical advice on how you can accomplish a few things. One, how you can identify who is in your family. And two, how these individuals affect your emotional reaction. Number three, how your family has helped to pre-program the way that you react emotionally. And number four, what it means to reprogram our emotional computer and move toward becoming more emotionally mature. You see, our ultimate goal is to be more emotionally mature, well-defined, differentiated, or whatever term helps you to best understand these concepts. To put it as simple as possible, our goal is to help you to be the best you that you can be. In order to make this concept more real and practical, Denise and I want to share with you a webinar we did for the Allegheny East Conference not too long ago. In this webinar, we explored how to balance being connected to your family and all other relationships while maintaining your own unique identity. We are going to expand on this, and we're going to talk about how to obtain this delicate balance in your own life over these next 3 weeks. Here's one way that you can think about what we're going to be discussing. Who is, especially this is appropriate during this COVID-19, who is the most important person in the hospital when there is a major health crisis? And that answer is the doctor. But it's not just any doctor, it is the doctor who is able to remain connected with the patients, to be there for the patients, to work and to walk among the patients, but who is also trained and skilled enough to maintain enough distance that he or she does not end up contracting the virus or the disease that the patient has. It is learning how to have that delicate balance of being connected to the patient while at the same time maintaining your own unique identity. So I'm going to ask you to join us, pull out a pen and paper, and let's get ready for the first part of this 3-part series. Here is Dr. Denise Davis and myself discussing intimacy. Thank you so much. Again, welcome, and thank you all so much for being with us. I'm just going to ask you if you do one thing, grab a pen and a paper, because I want you to write down information that we're going to share with you today. Also, and I know all of you have been in webinars and all this stuff since over the last month, but if you could put away distractions, avoid multitasking, that would help an awful lot. And
other than the comments.
Other than the comments. Comments are not a distraction, that's interaction. And then at the end, we're going to go ahead and do a question and answer period. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to talk about the secret key behind this whole shelter at home and what it provides for us. The secret key is this. In order to maximize the new reality of work and family merger, as well as to manage day-to-day routines, family have to improve their overall family relationships.
That's what you got right now.
That's what you have going for you right now. As a matter of fact, when we talk about intimacy, we have to make sure that we improve our overall family relationships. So these are I'm going to share with you. Home relationships are being revealed during COVID-19.
That's true.
Prior to COVID-19, many of us had a buffer zone from our partners as well as from our children. But now that we live in a time of all family all day, we are living a real life all in the family marathon. And I guess if you ask Denise if this is an all in family marathon, she would probably tell you that I'm the real life Archie Bunker. This is very challenging.
I'm not Edith. I am not
Archie.
Nope, I'm not Edith at all.
This is a very challenging and uncertain times. We are watching new stresses placed on families, financial, educational, emotional, and spiritual. We're dealing with an awful lot that is going on in our world. But here's the good news, and that is if we seize this opportunity, we can make our families and our family relationships strong and powerful. So rather than seeing this as a burden, we should look at this as a blessing. So we talk about opportunities.
Before we move on to the next thing, let me just say this one thing.
Yeah.
When we talk about that buffer zone that we had when we were not under this pandemic situation, the buffer zone is basically being able to go to work. You can compartmentalize. You have your work life, you have your family life, you have the kids that you tend to for a certain amount of hours each day. So, there was a buffer. So now it's always in your face, like family, not in a negative way, but it's there. And whatever issues that we've had, that comes to light and that makes it, and it's highlighted. So this is a great opportunity to work with each other to get closer.
It sure is.
All right. So now that you're sheltering at home, you have the opportunity to focus on building stronger family relationships. So I hope that you will utilize this time to focus on what really matters, which is God and family. And I go on YouTube and I see a lot of Facebook posts and people seem to be doing that. So today we're trying to make it practical. I hope your goal is to come out of this today, this ordeal and today's lesson with a stronger, healthier, more spiritual family. Our goal today is to help strengthen family relationships by building greater family intimacy during this time of shelter at home. So let's talk about intimacy.
Well, let's talk about intimacy.
Yes.
We're going to just jump straight into it. Our focus today is intimacy.
Intimacy.
And so we're going to talk about the broad picture of what intimacy is. There are several definitions for intimacy. One of them is sexual intercourse. And that is a phenomenal way to get intimate with somebody. In the words of the legend Marvin Gaye, let's get it on.
I'm blushing.
But then another definition.
That's a good way to.
That's a very good way. But another definition of intimacy is a romantic encounter. I got fixated on that sexual intercourse. The second one is romantic encounters. Which is different than sexual intercourse. That's right. Mm-hmm. A third one is spiritual intimacy. And let's just pause here for a moment and talk about spiritual intimacy.
What is spiritual intimacy?
Well, spiritual intimacy is being able to share your experience with God, with your spouse, and with your entire family. And one reason that this can be difficult is because often we view our relationship with God as religious activities. But spiritual intimacy is not just engaging in religious activities, but going on a spiritual journey together.
Okay. So imagine going on a nature excursion with your family through a part of the world that you've never been to. How would y'all share that experience together?
Yeah, that is a good question. And you and I had a chance to go on an excursion this summer.
We
went to we did something that we've been wanting to do for years.
Our latest excursion.
We wanted to drive the second leg. We went from from LA to San Francisco, going up the coastal highway.
Highway 1.
And then we wanted to go from San Francisco up to Canada,
right?
Traveling that same coastal highway. And we did that this summer, and it was awesome. Fun. We went to Portland, we went to Seattle. We had a chance to go to
small towns,
got some of the best blueberries you could ever. Blackberries.
Blackberries,
yeah. You could ever want to get your hands on. Yeah, went to the Redwoods. It was just a phenomenal experience.
How does your family experience spiritual disappointments together? That's a big one. How does your family share the sanctification process with each other?
Can I back up for a second? Because when we talked about this, you said, well, what is spiritual disappointments? And I intentionally did not give a definition for this one. And we said that we were not going to give a definition for spiritual disappointments because I want you to think what a spiritual disappointment means to you. And then because that's going to help you to also think about how you experience the journey with your family in revealing those spiritual disappointments and working through those spiritual disappointments and sharing them together. And the fourth one?
How does your family share the sanctification process with each other? I mean, you live in close quarters with people, so they see your flaws. They know that you're working on anger, and they know that you're working on honesty or integrity or whatever it is. How do you share that with your family? Or do you allow your family to be a part of that process? Do you allow your children to witness that sanctification process?
Yeah. So spiritual intimacy is a part of intimacy. And as we talk about the sanctification process, one of the things, and I've said this over and over, if there's any one thing I appreciate my mother giving to me more than anything else, is that I actually have seen and still witnessing the sanctification process in her life. I've seen my mother make some terrible mistakes, but I've also seen her go back to God for forgiveness. I've seen that roller coaster ride that many of us have been on,
right?
And I appreciate that. And so, how
she talks about it.
She talks about it. So, how do we bring our family along with that that sanctification process? This right here helps us to experience spiritual intimacy.
You know what? I just thought of something. Sometimes when you come to Christ and other family members see you, they think that, oh, you're being a hypocrite. No, you're going through the sanctification process. And for you to acknowledge that to your family is helpful. And then they can see where you are in point A and where you point B, point C, and so on until you have been fully revealed.
So just addressing something is not discussing and working it through it. It is not resolving it. And in true intimacy, when you have open and honesty and transparency, you address the issues, you then discuss the issues, and you also work to resolve the issues.
Okay. So family can practice and develop this intimacy skill by creating a family plan.
I'm glad you talked about a family plan, because a family plan allows you, and I want you to think about it from the perspective of a business plan. So, whenever you're starting a new business, to all my entrepreneurs out there, while everybody else is wondering about getting laid off, our entrepreneurs are saying to themselves, hey, I got this thing. But a family plan, just like a business plan, allows you to create a roadmap outlining the future direction of the family. Without a clear roadmap, I've noticed that families manage themselves by problems and by projects.
I must say, that's a strength of our family. Having a roadmap, because the problems that arise are just small, everyday items that you can address. But when you have an overall picture as to where you're going, what direction are we going in, we can come back to that plan. We can work that plan. And of course, your children have to have buy-in to that plan.
Yes. And that's really where discipline comes in.
Right.
Discipline doesn't come in where you beat your child because you're mad at them or they upset you or embarrass you.
Right.
Discipline is a part of helping the child to reach a goal that the two of you have set together.
Right.
And when you really think about reaching toward the goal, then you ask yourself, what is the best method to get this, to help us to reach this particular objective?
And let's be practical real quick. It's not about saying, I want you to be a lawyer. That's not what it is. So at the end of each year, we usually come together as a family and we ask the children, what would you like to accomplish this year? Remember that we do it. And then they will say, oh, I'd like to do this. So our kids are like, oh, I'd like to take some college courses when I get to a certain age. I'd like to do this summer. So we say, okay, well, how can we make that happen? How can we as parents support you to make that happen? And why do you want to do this? What's the bigger picture in mind? And it kind of gives them foresight, and it kind of gives them a big picture so that they know that their life has purpose, and they know at each interval in their life and something will come, something happen.
Let me take you into the shameless commerce division of Season with Grace Unboxed. Unboxed is my number one fan. Unboxed recently did a webinar called Work and Home Life Merger.
It was good.
Where we discussed developing a family business plan. And so I want to encourage you to go to our website, and you can view the webinar for free, and you can download the worksheets for free. Our website, which I believe is up there, is www.swg-unboxed.org. And we're really going to talk about that open honesty and transparency and developing a well-articulated, well-crafted family business plan.
The webinar was good.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah. Well, I do my best to impress.
I'm impressed.
So we looked at 4 definitions of intimacy: sexual intercourse, romantic encounters, spiritual intimacy, openness, honesty, and transparency within the relationship.
Right. The healthy balance of closeness and distance in the relationship.
That's number 5.
That's what we're going to talk about next.
And that's where we're really going to spend the majority of our time at today.
Right. Healthy balance of closeness and distance.
Wow, I like that.
Yes.
Are we too close right now?
I think we're good.
Okay. Our primary focus today is going to be on intimacy through a balanced relationship. What is a healthy balance of closeness and distance in the relationship?
Which
how do
is an
we
oxymoron
achieve?
because it draws you closer.
Yeah.
How do Grace Unboxed wants you to stay safe during this difficult time? We pray that things will return to normal soon, so please follow local and federal directives, wash your hands, disinfect your surroundings, and use hand sanitizer. Use proper sanitary practices all over. And if you feel sick, seek professional medical help. Thank you for joining us. We will see you again next week at 9 p.m. Eastern Time for Tune-Up Tuesdays, because even the smoothest running family needs a Tune-Up Tuesday. See you next week.
Thank you for watching Tune Up Tuesday. You can connect with us on Facebook or check out our website at swg-unboxed.org. That's swg-unboxed.org. Again, thank you for watching, and tune in next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another insightful episode of Tune Up Tuesday. Seasoned with Grace Unboxed also provides healthy relationship training and leadership development for businesses, churches, and community organizations. For a free consultation to discuss your team's needs, please contact us at our website at swg-unboxed.org. That's swg-unboxed.org.